Hey guys, good afternoon. This is your boy Flacco. It is February 10th. It is almost Valentine's Day, and we are wearing a pink shirt. Why? Because, well, we are actually on the way to a gig, or we are about to head out for a gig. And, just to cue you guys in, this is going to be my very first gig log. Alright, but before we take off, I just wanted to show you guys the mess that I have right now in my car carrying all this equipment. I really should get a van or a truck to transport all of this, but I usually do. I rent out a van when I get a gig that requires the bigger equipment, but for all the small stuff that you don't really need, too much space for, I just use my good old little Civic. Yeah, a 2017 Honda Civic. That's all we use. And it's a little cramped. Look, I'm gonna show you right now. It's a little cramped in here, but you don't really need too much, guys. You don't need too much space. I have everything else in the trunk. In the front, I usually just put all the speakers. As you can see, I put the speakers, some bags, stands, and then in the trunk is where I carry all the important stuff. So my laptop, my DJ controller, the table, what do they call it? The scrim for my table, my mixer, my lighting controller, everything. That's where all the important stuff is at. And yeah, I'm still home right now, but I am just about ready to take off. Today we're doing a 21st birthday party in the city of Garden Grove, California. And it's going to be a simple little backyard party. I don't need to go dressed too formal or anything. I usually do go dressed formal with slacks and a button up, but because of the weather over here, it's been cold, since around January, I want to say. It's been really cold and kind of cloudy and sometimes even rainy. So, I decided to just go in jeans and this t-shirt today. And pink, well, we're doing pink because I'm guessing the birthday girl's theme is either Barbie or some sort of pink theme. I don't know. So I'm wearing pink just to represent a little bit, but honestly, I'm gonna be with my jacket for most of the night. Once the sun sets and the wind starts to kick up and it really starts to get cold, I'm just gonna put on my jacket. So I figured, why am I gonna go formal when I'm gonna have a jacket most of the time, But yeah, that's the reason why we are wearing pink, guys. So without further ado, let's get out to there. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in a bit. So just to give a little bit of context behind, my background and how I got started in this business. I've always been into music. I was a musician actually from high school and into college. I was in the jazz band, the marching band. I was doing music theory classes. So since I have that whole musician background, getting into DJing was honestly extremely easy to me. I don't mean to brag, but honestly, knowing the composition of how music is structured and the keys and everything, knowing the timing and the beats, it just came so naturally to me, guys, once I started learning how to DJ.
Make a U-turn at Woodbury Avenue.
And yeah, I've been doing it for around 5 to 6 years. I would say I didn't start doing it professionally until last year, which was 2023. Because last year was the year when I finally did start getting just, a bunch of gigs. I was doing weddings, I was doing quinceañeras, I was doing bar mitzvahs. I did foreign events, so I did an Indian event, I did a Vietnamese event, and, I did a lot of weddings, had a couple quinceañeras under there, doing more formal events such as those. And of course I had my regular house parties, which are always fun, You're not going to get paid the same doing a house party as you would a quinceañera unless you really are, well sought out like that. You're a famous DJ who gets to charge whatever he wants. But as far as I'm concerned at least, I charge way less for a house party than I would for a wedding or a quinceañera. And it's not that I charge less just because it's a house party, but the way I'm structured, on my website, I have 3 packages. And basically you have the package of 500, which is the basic one, which is the one I mostly use for house parties. And then you have two other ones that are more upgraded, which I like to tell my prospects, my leads, that they don't really need for a house party. They don't really need the higher packages.
Use the left 2 lanes
just
to turn
because
left
honestly
onto
it's
Trask
gonna be
Avenue.
overkill. Like it's gonna be way more sound than they really need, and way more equipment than they really need. So yeah, I mean, I have those three packages. That's how I have my pricing structured, at least. And for the traditional package for house parties, it's normally just my table, my controller. They get lights, so dance lights, obviously. And two tops. They get two tops. However, the way I have it structured in my website is it says that you are able to add subwoofers.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Trask Avenue.
Oh my god, this Google Maps is annoying, man. But yeah, it says that I allow my clients to choose if they want to add subwoofers to the package. And whenever I'm on a sales call with a prospect, I often ask them, like, would you be interested in, purchasing the subwoofers? And a bunch of them honestly don't know what it is, so I have to explain to them that it's, those big boxes that go on the floor that basically like pump out all the bass. And honestly, I'm usually able to pitch them on it, and good thing, because honestly, I don't know about you guys, but to me, just DJing with just the two tops is so weird, guys. Like it's so weird to me. I don't know. I'm so used to always having subs in my rigs or in my setups. So whenever I have to DJ without it, I just, it doesn't give you that oomph that the subwoofer will always give you. And granted, I don't even have like my high-end subwoofer that I use for, like the weddings and, those more formal events where I take the nicer setup, because I'm in my Honda Civic, guys. Like, I'm not going to fit an 18-inch sub in the back of my Honda Civic. But I do have a 15-inch sub that is, those are the subs that I use for the house parties. And those are the ones that I offer to my clients if they want to purchase extra.
In half a mile, turn right onto
And I top it out at 2. So I tell them they can either get 1 sub or 2 subs, just depending on, obviously, how loud they want their music to be. So for today, yeah, we have our traditional package with the 2 tops. They added 1 sub, and then we're going to have the lights. And obviously, with all the packages, I always include the wireless mics. I include music requests, which is like the biggest factor. That is like why so many of my clients like me and repeat and like booking me over and over again, or even refer me to other people, is because I carry an iPad around with me, and I connect that iPad through Bluetooth to my mixer,
turn right onto Galway Street,
into my sound system. And I tell them all the time, if you guys have a request, I have no problem taking your guys' requests. Like, I don't just play anything they request. If I only use the request for songs that I don't already have on my laptop. So if they request a song that I don't have already on my software, then that's when I go on. I have YouTube Music on my iPad.
Your destination is on the right.
I look up the song, and if I have no idea what that song is, then I listen to it beforehand on my phone, just to try to see like the vibe of it, like the feel. Is it a slow song? Is it a super hype song? Is it more on the mellow side? Is it a ballad? Is it a sad song? Is it happy? I try to get some context, just because I'm not gonna have like a packed dance floor and then someone comes and asks for a request and it's like a super sad, like super sad ballad type of song. It's just gonna kill the entire mood. And so that's why I try to get as much information about the track before I play it when it's requested. And obviously, I'm not able to get through all of the requests, but I do try to get through as many as I can, just to, please the client. And that's just how I do things, guys. But yeah, we are finally here. We just arrived at the location, and yeah, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to call the birthday girl right now, and we'll go see where we're gonna set up, guys. So see y'all soon. Alright guys, so I just want to give you all a quick little disclaimer before I continue forward with this video. So my original intent for this vlog was to obviously record, the whole setup process. However, I wasn't able to record, exactly how it is that I set up and everything because I ran out of time. I quite frankly, I showed up and the layout was a little weird, and then the area, the little space where they put me at was also a little weird, so I had to try to figure out, how I was gonna set up. So as you're gonna see soon in the video, the speakers, I had to put them in front of me, which is a little bit weird for me just because normally I have my speakers right next to me, like from wherever my table is at. So if my table is right here, I like putting, my tops right here, and then I put the subwoofers in front of my table. But because the area was so small for where they had me set up, it was just gonna be too cumbersome to have a speaker right here next to me, and it was gonna, it didn't give me too much space for me to be able to move freely in and out from my table. So I decided to just put the speakers in front of me and facing to the right, which is where all the guests were facing. Because of the layout of the backyard, they had me in this corner right here in the back. There was like a little bit of like a dance floor area right in front of me, but the actual like place where all the tables and guests were at for the dancing and eating and everything was to the right of me. So I put, as you'll be able to see in the video soon, I have the sub and the top right there, right in front of me. And then you'll see where I'm stationed in the corner all the way to the back. And I just ran out of time also because I had to, the power situation was also a little complicated. I had to run power from like across the other side of the backyard. So I had to run the power cable from the other side, run it through the tables and through the area where everybody was going to be walking through and dancing and such. And so I had to, gaff tape the entire thing where it was exposed to the guests, just because I've had parties before where, people trip over the power or the extension cable, and everything just just turns off, and everyone starts looking at me like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? Why the music stopped? Where the lights at? So I made sure to gaff tape it like properly to ensure that no one tripped over the cable this time. And like as I said, by the time I was done finally setting everything up, I only had like 10 minutes left before the party officially started, and I was supposed to, start mixing and catering to the guests. So that is why I wasn't able to, really record how it is that I set up, because I don't know about you, but once I start mixing, guys, I get so into it. Like, it's hard for me to be able to like record and vlog just because I'm like in it, like I am in the mix. So I'm constantly like looking through my folders, looking through different tracks, trying to think of cool little transitions that I could do. Like, I get lost in the sauce, guys. So I know what I do, as you'll see in the video. Once I'm in that zone, I prop the camera up next to me, I just hit record, and there we go. Whatever happens, happens. So my apologies for not being able to record how it was that I set up and how everything looked like once I finished. But for the next vlog, guys, I will totally repay the favor. But for now, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so for this little section, this was, I want to say it was like around an hour and a half in to the party. And most of the birthday girl's friends had already arrived, and so they had just finished eating, and they started off by playing drinking games. Obviously, it's a 21st birthday party, so they were playing beer pong, I think flip cup, and some other games that I don't really know of, or maybe I wasn't really able to tell what they were playing. But there's just a little bit of some clips from there. I was playing merengue because I think someone requested this Bad Bunny song, which is a merengue. So here we go, guys. So, if I remember correctly, this was a cool ass transition that, I was just like, whatever, we're gonna try this out. I like taking risks at my events. If I'm getting like a good reaction from the mixes, I like taking risks every here and there just to see how they react. And as you're about to see, it just that cool mix that I did, the transition, it had everybody hyped up. Not everybody, but I mean, you hear the reactions of people like really getting into it. And for those of you who don't know, I was transitioning from merengue into rock en español. And if you know, you know, but I transitioned from this merengue song, this remix merengue song, into Oye Mi Amor by Maná, which is rock en español, like from the 80s. It's like 80s rock music in Latin. So let's take a listen to this, guys. All right, so you can't really see it from this angle of where I was shooting, but those were right when I played that song and I did that transition. That was when the first couple of people came out to the dance floor and started dancing. As you can see, there's two people right there in front of me. Obviously, we're feeling the vibe and started dancing. But to the right of me, where all the tables and chairs and stuff were situated, there was another little dance floor where other guests were at. And you see, what I think is really cool about parties like these is that, it was primarily for younger folks. So all these people that you see right here, all these guests are around like 21, 23-ish, I'm supposing. That's what I want to say, So they were relatively young. And everybody else that was sitting on the tables was mostly family and, stuff like that. And they were all mostly older guests. And it's cool that you get to play, old school music from like the 80s, and you can get both the young crowd and the older crowd to, give you that kind of reaction. And, like, it's really cool just how older music really just transcends time and is able to bring everyone together regardless of what year you were born or how old you are, It's something that I feel like today's new music really doesn't encapsulate, just like the feeling of how music was made. And so I just thought it was cool, how I'm playing 80s rock and I got a cool reaction from from the entire crowd, really. So let's continue with this. Yeah, guys, so I just, the way I like to mix, I like to like transition from genre to genre and play usually anywhere from like 10 to 30 minutes of that genre just to get, everybody situated with the feel that we're in, the mood that we're trying to portray. And, just to allow people that are, digging this kind of music and that are dancing to have their, their moment to shine. So yeah, as you can see, we continued with the 80s rock. There's another famous 80s rock song in Latin. If you don't know of it, it's called Devuélveme a mi chica. which means give me back my girl in English. And yeah, it's a cool little track. Yeah, guys, so I was just hitting them with the bangers over here, at least with the old school rock bangers. All those three tracks that I just played are like some of the top hits when it comes to old school Latin rock. Yeah, like I don't know about you guys, but I feel like you have to be quick mixing nowadays just because TikTok brain is really prevalent, and I feel like it's hard to keep the crowd going if you play their songs from start to finish. I feel like after the second chorus, it's like, okay, like move on, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, we hired you because you're a DJ, not because you're a glorified Spotify machine or something, you know? So I really do quick mix like a lot. Like, honestly, guys, I rarely make it past the second chorus on every song I play. Like, I usually don't make it to the bridges. I really don't. Usually, if the song is really getting a reaction from the crowd, I usually let it, go into the second chorus, and then right after that second chorus, I am out. But as you saw in this instance, first chorus came up, which is when you saw everybody getting lit, the Supreme. And that's when I started the mix. Like, I started mixing like halfway into that chorus, and that's just how I do things, guys. Like, I really think it's cool when you're able to quick mix and, keep the crowd on their feet. Like, you keep them surprised, and you just, keep them guessing as to what's coming next. Yeah, so I believe I transitioned, that abruptly into reggaeton. If for those of you who don't know this style of music that just came on, it's called reggaeton, which is another Latin style of music. And I believe halfway through that previous rock song I was playing, I had a guest come up, one of the birthday girl's friends, and she told me, like, can you play some reggaeton? Like, we want to hear that now. And so that is why I was like, I honestly don't try to fight with them. I'm usually really chill with them coming up and like requesting either like, certain songs or genres or whatever. So she asked for reggaeton, and I said, all right, cool, so let's do it. So I just quickly transitioned to the reggaeton, from that track. Yeah, so I really wasn't kidding when I said I quick mix like frequently. I do very, 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 very quick mixing, guys. Like that reggaeton song maybe only played for like 45 seconds, a minute at most, and I was out. Like I don't know if it'll be annoying. Like if you think it'd be annoying if you hired me and I did that, but I just like to keep things going, guys. I want to play as many bangers as I can because, you know, at the end of the day, you only get like so many hours with me. So I want to try to play as many songs out there, you know, that's gonna either, you know, let you reminisce, or maybe there's songs that you forgot about that were really good, or, you know, maybe, I don't know, like I really just like quick mixing, guys. I like just keeping the energy going and going and going. And so from here, a little bit shortly after I played it, you know, a little bit of reggaeton for them, I had another guest come and ask me for some cumbias, you know, and specifically more old school cumbias. So this is how I ended up playing cumbia. As you can see from this angle now, I have, you know, you can see where the speakers are at the sub with the top facing that way towards the crowd. And you can also see my laptop, just so y'all can see that this is live and I'm not cheating. And you can see how disorganized I am due to my, you know, really horrific doom scrolling. You're gonna see me just going up and down, man, just up and down my library, just looking to see what track I'm gonna play next. Like, I really need to organize my playlist, or at least my crates in Serato. It's not that I don't have it organized, I have it organized. But what I've really been thinking of doing now is to separate like the really good tracks from each genre and subgenre. So I'm gonna separate like the top bangers, like the ones that I know are gonna be a hit, that I usually, you know, those are the songs that I'm usually playing at every party. I want to get all those tracks from each genre and subgenre and put them into their own, like, you know, specific crate. So take it like maybe I have a 90s hip hop folder. I want to take all the bangers from 90s hip hop and just put them onto their own little folder. That way I'm able to like quickly, you know, just play hit over hit over hit over hit, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna be mindlessly scrolling through my library, you know, freaking out and figuring out what song to play next and having to look for like certain tracks, you know. So that is the goal for this year. I have to organize my crates in that fashion. But regardless, here's the cumbia, guys. Let's take a listen.
Es callada, tímida, inocente, tiene la mirada. Tomo la mano, se te algo extraño, la abrazo, te besa, quizá a temblar, de miedo, siento lo que nunca había sentido, sensación así en su vida, en su vida. Que si eso es el amor, que si eso es el amor, que si eso es el amor. Voy a decir que te quiero.
And yeah, guys, as I had stated, you know, once they ask for a genre or I get them dancing to a certain genre, I usually stick with it for like a good 20 to 30 minutes. And that's what I was doing here. Just played cumbia for like a good 30 minutes, half an hour, had them dancing. Finally, once I see that they start dying off, like people start going back to their seats and stuff, that's when I usually transition it. So let's get back into it. Alright guys, so this was the other angle I was talking to you guys about. As you can see, I was stationed in that small little area right there. So you can see just how much space there is from that table to my table, and that is exactly why I didn't want to set up, with the traditional way that I usually do, which is with my top here, one top here, and then my subs, just because the tops on either side were gonna be taking up more space than they need to, and it was gonna make it really hard for me to, move out, in and out from that table. Like I'm getting drinks, or I'm getting food, or I go to the restroom or stuff like that, and I didn't want to have to hassle and maybe like potentially knock a speaker over trying to get in and out. So I just avoided that and decided to put the speakers where I did. And as I said, guys, it sounded great. It really sounded great. I used to stress a lot back then when I first started off DJing because I didn't know how to connect speakers at all. I would use like the flimsiest cables. It was all unbalanced quarter inches or RCA cables, and the gain structure that I had on my mixer was all messed up, and I would always get frustrated because I wasn't able to get a lot of sound from my systems. But now that I learned how it is to like properly set up your speakers to your mixer and your controller and so forth, I'm telling you, just one sub, guys, and it's not even like my high-end equipment. The speakers you saw earlier, it's literally just a Mackie Thump 12 and a Turbo Sound 15 IP15B, something like that. They're discontinued subs, but it's a 15-inch sub, and that's like, it's honestly kind of like beginner equipment. It's not even pro gear, and I always get complimented on, I get complimented all the time on just how great the sound is, because I hook everything up correctly to my mixer. So yeah, guys, this is the other area where they were mostly dancing and having fun. And now you can see me, in action a little bit, just seeing what I do with my beer. I don't know, do you guys like to drink at your events or not? I'm not against drinking, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to grab a drink on my own. The only way I drink at my gigs is if they literally tell me to, or if they offer it to me, which usually is the case. Like usually I have a guest or the person who hired me come and tell me like, do you want a drink? Do you want a beer? Do you want to do this? And okay, yeah, I'll take a beer. And if not, then I'll have like for weddings and such, like formal events at venues, I'll have the bride or the groom come up to me and let me know like, oh, the bar is open, feel free to go ahead and grab a drink whenever you want. So, I'm the type that's gonna be like, don't mind if I do, like, I'm gonna get my beer too, which I don't think there's anything wrong, as long as you know your tolerance and you know when to stop, guys, and you are able to function properly if you drink, then by all means, like, don't feel ashamed to drink. Honestly, like, I don't think it should be frowned upon if the cameraman or the DJ or whatever is drinking necessarily, as long as they're, being responsible enough and, watching their limits and are still able to perform, to their full capacity. So, yeah, guys, let's continue.
León y García.
Alright guys, so what you saw from that little interaction there was basically I had a guest come up to me and they were telling me, oh, can you play this song, which was a merengue song, and I told them like I already played it, but sure, I'll play it again, I'll see how I can mix it in. And so after I told her I would play that song, then she asked me to play another song afterwards, which is It's kind of like a line dancing song, but for Latinos. Like it's a Spanish line dancing song, and it's really popular, like in quinceañeras and Latin parties. A bunch of people know it's called No Rompas Más or El Caballo Dorado for those of you who are unaware. But yeah, I told her I'll play the merengue song again, even though I had already played it, and that I'll see when I could fit in the line dancing song that they were requesting.
Rápidamente que comience la fiesta. Mesa que más aplauda, mesa que más aplauda, mesa que más aplauda, le mando la niña. Mesa que más aplauda, sí, mesa que más aplauda, no, mesa que más aplauda, le mando la niña.
Yeah, listening back to that now, that was a horrible scratch, guys. Oh, that scratch was so bad. I don't know what for me, this BPM that I'm playing it right now is like around 80 to 85, so it's relatively fast because it's in double time. It's double time, so it's relative, even though it's only 85 number numerically, it's double time 85, so it's like 170. I believe 170. So that's fast, and for me, I don't know, just scratching, fast BPMs like that is, I get really messy, man. So please forgive me on that horrific scratch you just heard. And this was the song they requested, which I had already previously played, a little bit before this. But yeah, this La Vaca, guys, moo, moo, La Vaca, moo, which means cow. La Vaca means cow. So I don't know if you were able to hear that interaction right there between me and that lady, but it was basically she came and told me to play the song that they were requesting, which was the line dance one I was telling you. So she said the one with the steps. So she was requesting that song, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, finally I'll play it. Don't trip. Like it's next, because I did honestly I held off on it for like a good 10 minutes, just because some people were still dancing to the merengue and stuff. So if I see people dancing, I'm gonna try to keep them dancing for as long as I can. Like I'm not the type that's gonna they come ask for something and people are dancing and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna immediately just like change the vibe or kill the dance floor just because you asked for a request. I mean I'm not rude like that either. I don't tell them like no, but I usually tell them like, yeah, I'll get to it in a little bit. Just let me play this kind of music for like another 5 to 10 minutes and then we'll transition. And they're all usually cool with it. Like I've never had a problem with guests getting angry with me whenever I tell them that. So now we're gonna see the transition of that one line dancing song that they wanted to hear for so long. And so I think I'm gonna MC a little finally. So let's get to it. in case, you know, just for all of those of you, for those of you wondering, if you can see right there where I'm at in the bottom right corner, I was actually, the way I was thinking of transitioning for the line dance was, the way I have my controller set up. Once those pads appear, those are the stems. If you don't know what stems are for Serato, it's basically like you're able to isolate certain characteristics of a track. So I'm able to isolate, you know, like maybe I want just the acapellas or the vocals. Maybe I want just the drums. Maybe I want just the instrumentals. Maybe I want, you know, just the bass line. So I was going to cut off the vocals and just have the drums, I believe. So I think I cut off the vocal and like the rhythm, or the what do you call it? The vocals and the instrumentals, pretty much. So I had just like the kick drum and the bass going, and I was gonna, you know, have that. I was gonna loop a section of the song, using just the drums and the bass, and then transition into the line dancing song that they wanted, because the BPMs were very, very similar. I was lucky in the sense that the BPMs were really close. So let's take a look at that now.
Alright, everyone, I'm gonna need all volunteers, all dancers to come onto the dance floor. If you haven't recognized it already, there's a little song called No Rompas Más, alright? And we're just gonna warm up right now, so hopefully you get on, because the next is gonna be a lot more difficult, so. We ready, guys? Here we go. Everybody, con la mano para arriba, there we go, like that.
No rompas más, mi pobre corazón. Estás pegando justo, entiéndelo.
Yeah, guys, that's DJing 101, line dancing. I don't know, like, do you guys think it's cheesy? Is it cheesy to play line dancing songs, you know, at your events? I don't really think it's cheesy. I think it's cheesy if, it's really cheesy if the line dancing songs are the only songs that you're able to get your guests up to dance. If that is the case, then yeah, that's kind of bad. Like, if the only time you're able to bring out your guests to the dance floor is by playing a line dance, then, whew, I don't know, man. That's a little concerning there, but I don't think they're cheesy. Usually, what I do is, what I did after I play this, once I play a line dance song, I go through all of them just to get them out the way. So I played this song, then I played the faster version of this song, which is also, it's the same line dance, but like triple the speed. And then I played the Cupid Shuffle, then the Cha-Cha Slide, and then I think Wobble. And so yeah, I ended up playing those 5 line dancing tracks, and you know, I just got them out the way, just because, you know, it's, I mean, if they ask for it, if they're already in that vibe of they wanted to be, you know, on the dance floor doing line dances together, then just keep it going. And then, you know, right after that, then we'll go back into the mixing. But here you go, guys, line dancing.
Si quiebras poco más, mi pobre corazón, me harás mil pedazos, quiérelo.
And for those of you wondering, this is basically like the Mexican version of the Cupid Shuffle. It is really, really similar. Like, the steps are almost the same. It's just like 2 differences in the order of the steps that changes. But other than that, Mexican Cupid Shuffle, guys. No rompas más. Check it out.
Mejor, ni tú ni cada opción, no tengo más partido que mi amor. Dime algo, baby girl, ya no me hagas perder, serás siempre mi nena como el sol. Te gusta vivir bien, te juro que tal vez yo pueda darte algo de valor. No vengas con amor y con mucho calor, lo que nunca llegaste a tener. No rompas más, mi pobre corazón, te estás pegando justo en bien.
Alright, guys, well, that was the end of the night. We made it. It is 3:22 in the morning. It is super, super late, and we are barely like arriving pretty much back to home base in Ontario. I'm like 10-15 minutes away from my house still, which, oh my god, it always happens, guys. I'm telling you, like, I only get booked till like 11 or 12, and I always end up staying longer than I'm supposed to. I mean, not for free, obviously. I'm not gonna do it for free, but man, I'm tired. It ended at 2, and that's because the parents had to shut the party down because those kids did not want to leave, man. They would have stayed there if they let them, honestly. But honestly, man, shout out to the neighbors, because hey, those neighbors did not complain, did not make a fuss. They did not do a damn thing to ruin that party, guys. Like, usually, honestly, I've had multiple parties before, house parties specifically, where the cops always show up. Like, it's barely 11, and the cops are already there, you know, already party pooping, telling us to lower the music, or, you know, starting a whole scene because people are drunk, and you know what happens with drunk people and cops, you know, a bunch of crazy shit. But today, yeah, no, I had it pretty loud, honestly, like till 2 a.m. till the end, and we had no cops show up at all for the entire evening. And it's funny because right when I pulled up and I started pulling, you know, equipment out of my car, there was a cop right there just roaming around for whatever reason. I don't know if he was like just looking around, or he was taking a break, or maybe he was visiting someone on parole, but you know, I saw a cop. So that immediately made me think like, oh, you know, like, this is gonna get shut down quickly if he's already here. But no, they were so cool. The crowd was definitely cool. Really, really engaging crowd, you know. Started off slow, honestly, because for the first 2-3 hours, everyone was just eating, and a bunch of people were trickling in. Like, I had thought it started at 7. The party officially started at 7, and I thought by around like 8:30, you know, that would have been like, most people that were supposed to be there would have been there already. But nah, like, people were still trickling in throughout the night. It wasn't until like around 10, I want to say, when finally like everybody was there. People started actually dancing and, you know, just getting lit, taking shots, drinking, dancing like no tomorrow. And yeah, it was cool, guys. You know, I was able to cater to both the young crowd and the older crowd. You know, I would like give them each their own time to shine, really. So I would give like 20-30 minutes of Latin music for the older crowd. Then I would switch it up to another 20-30 minutes of, you know, reggaeton or hip hop or pop, you know, for the younger crowd. And that's basically how, you know, I mixed for the entire night, just switching back and forth, trying to please the young crowd and the older crowd, the Latin crowd and the English crowd, the old school crowd, and, you know, the hip hop crowd. It was just, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Got a lot of compliments telling me that, you know, that I know how to mix really well. They're gonna hire me for their next events, for their parties, because they really like how I'm open to requests and I don't give them hassle, and, you know, I play what's needed. And yeah, I mean, I've pretty much pulled out like the entire military of my crate system in Serato on them today. Like, everything came out. I played pretty much a little bit of everything, guys. But yeah, all in all, 5 out of 5 star gig. And you know, I'm really hoping to get booked by them again in the future, as they said they would. So I'm gonna be arriving home very soon, guys, and you know, I am extremely tired. Whether you believe me or not, you know, only because we're, you know, standing there behind the laptop picking music. You know, a bunch of people would assume that's not tiring at all, but, you know, people forget to factor in the amount of time it takes to travel to the event location, the amount of time it takes to set up, the amount of time it takes to, you know, just get everything ready, make sure all the lighting is correct, your speakers are correct, the cabling is correct, and then the amount of time that it takes, you know, for you to actually perform your job, which is, you know, just constantly looking through your crates and looking through songs, trying to figure out what's going to come next, making sure the mix is fine, making sure, you know, I have a bunch of moments where I have to pee, I have to urinate, so I have to leave like a song pretty much on the intro playing while I go to the bathroom quickly, hoping and praying that no one's in there already, you know, use the restroom, come back out, there's only maybe like 30 seconds to a minute left of the song, quickly find another song, mix it in, and, you know, keep it going, man. Like, it gets a little stressful, you know. It's not all about just, oh, press play and have the song playing. Nah, like, there's an actual art to this, guys, and, you know, at least we DJs wouldn't be charging what we charge if we were just glorified, you know, Spotify players, MP3 players. Like, that's not what it is, you know. It's an actual job, guys. It takes practice, it takes experience, and it takes some skill. And yeah, I mean, as I was saying, really tired, especially because I don't really like to sit for my events, just because I like to look around and, you know, try to be engaged with the crowd. And sitting down, I used to sit down a lot when I was, you know, a beginner, because I was able to like hide behind my facade or my desk and all that. But now, man, I stand for the entire event. The only time I'm eating or sitting really is when I'm eating, or when I'm eating. Pretty much the only time I'm sitting now, honestly. But other than that, yeah, standing for what, I got there like at 6. Been standing since 6 o'clock, guys. So I've been standing stationary in one spot for around 9 hours now. So, you know, you can do your own math there. I've been awake since like 7 in the morning. It is 3:30 in the morning now. I've been awake for all those hours. I've been standing for 9+ hours, and man, I feel it now. If I had another event, you know, today, as in Sunday, I don't know, man. It'd probably be rough, honestly. Like, I would need so much energy drinks just to get me by. But yeah, guys, I'm finally home, and all in all, as I stated, good party, good crowd, good people, good food, good drinks, good everything. My rate, once again, 5 out of 5. And, you know, I just want to announce that I did capture some clips. I recorded like a good hour, I want to say, an hour or two of just straight camera video, you know, of me mixing. Obviously, I'm not going to post all of it because that's crazy talk. But, you know, I'll post some on Instagram and Facebook and all that, you know, just post some clips of some transitions or some moments that I thought were pretty cool. And yeah, with that being said, guys, this is your boy, Catching Flacco, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.